Hey everyone, welcome to the Vault. We're back with some more exclusive content. The MLB Show episode 3 goes right now, featuring Kyle and Pierre. I am, of course, Leon, not Pierre. Pierre's off this week. I'll be filling in for him. While you guys are here, drop a like on the video. Let us know you're here in the comments.
That's right. Let us know how your team is doing. How's the season so far for you guys?
And we'll be talking a little baseball.
Baseball. I know there's some playoff basketball tonight.
I wonder.
But come join us for this lovely baseball talk.
Yeah, but we got NBA, NHL playoffs.
We got a little bit of everything. Exactly.
Everything's kind of overlapping.
Right in the thick of it.
A lot of people saying hi.
Well, listen, we know the Red Sox only have the Celtics to, well, and they got their Bruins as well, right?
Yeah, Bruins are still alive.
Bruins, yeah, they're probably going to the cup, to the cup.
I definitely watched the NBA. Not that the Raptors are up, not as much, but I definitely follow.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm ecstatic right now.
You guys are up 3-1?
Yep.
Yeah. I can't believe this is episode 3 already. This has been
three
this
weeks.
has been a fun journey.
Yeah, right. A month already into the season, more or less.
Yeah, we're over 10% of the way. You're starting to give less grace to slow starts.
That's it, exactly. Those slow starts are starting to seem like those that's what you're gonna be for the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing with baseball. It's so long. The season goes so long that you can literally be up in June, July, be behind in June or July, and start break off some wins, and other teams lose, and you're right back in the thick of it.
Yeah. The standings are becoming more and more real now. I mean, we're still not standing watching or scoreboard watching yet, but still.
No, it's still so, still so early. So much things can happen. Injuries can take place. Trades, obviously, when the trade deadline comes, additions, subtractions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Phillies went on a magical run last year, man. Baseball's one of those weird sports, right? Like, not always does the best team ever win, right?
No, that's definitely. There's been teams where throughout the year they weren't even close to being one of the top teams in the league, and they just get on a hot streak at the right time.
Yeah,
and that was indicative with Philadelphia last year.
Yep.
They just got on the hot streak at the right time. I remember the same thing with the 06 Cardinals. I remember was it the 06 Cardinals? When they play in the World Series against Detroit, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And they won. They ended up winning, I believe it was like 84 games in the regular season. And they ended up going all the way to the World Series, and they defeated Detroit.
What about the 07 Rockies? I feel like they didn't lose after the All-Star break.
Yeah, they were another team. Exactly. I only think they probably
Rockies.
Yeah, I think they only won like 90, 91 games that year.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing. They just got hot at the right time in the NL, and they beat some teams, and they made it all the way to the series.
They got swamped in the series, but they made it there.
Yeah, they made it. The Red Sox gave them a nice ass whipping. But yeah, that's the thing with baseball, man. You usually in other sports, the best teams usually win. It's rare that you see any type of upsets, like huge upsets, like in baseball though, it's you just, especially with the series, the first round, it's a 5-game series.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quick, and then a 7-game, you never know. Your bats go cold, the opposition's pitchers are hot, and you can lose quick.
Yeah. All right. let's get this thing going.
Let's do it.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Hiring the first black player, Warren Robinson, he will be held to the high.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone.
Back to full. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Bronx, the Cubs winning the World Series.
All right, welcome to the Vault, guys. This is the MLB Show episode 3, usually featuring Kyle and Pierre. I am, of course, Leon, filling in for Pierre today. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Kyle, talk to me.
Yes. Welcome, episode 3 of the MLB Show. And man, baseball's been off to a good start so far. Obviously, I've been enjoying it. I know, Leon, you've probably been feeling the same way with your Jays. Just listen, man, just love baseball all around. This time of the year is always exciting with other sports going on, but most definitely for me with baseball here, I'm loving it, man. How do you feel?
I feel good. We had a little grudge match last weekend. I feel we were cut a little bit short. I mean, I didn't realize how injured the Yankees are.
Oh, God. They're just – listen, man. This is the problem with the Yankees, honestly. Listen, they had to re-sign Judge, obviously, and I'm not even upset about that. He had to be re-signed. He was the captain of the team, obviously named the captain. But it's just – they're struggling offensively, man. It's just their offense that they're putting out there is like the lineups. If you see some of their lineups they're throwing out there, I mean, the bottom 4 hitters in their lineup are just not even – some of them are not even MLB players at the moment. They're just filling in because other guys are hurt. They're just struggling with so many injuries, man. But the good thing is that, you know, baseball is a long season and you hope to get ready, healthy and get guys back. But right now, man, their offense, because their pitching staff is actually holding up their end of the bargain, and even their pitching staff is missing some guys. But they're just struggling right now, man, offensively. To put up runs, it's a struggle for them right now.
Yeah, it's almost like feast or famine, right? If you're not hitting the home run, it's not much is happening.
No, exactly.
Strikeouts.
It's not. Another thing, Vladimir Guerrero, relax, buddy. we don't want you. Just you're in Toronto, enjoy it there, baby. Why you always gotta come at us for?
I feel like they did.
Did they do his father dirty or something?
I think something happened to Wilton. I think his uncle.
Who's his uncle?
Wilton Guerrero.
Oh, Wilton Guerrero. Okay.
Vladdy Senior. Vladdy Pops is his brother.
His brother. His
something
brother.
happened there because he is not doing well. I don't know. Like the media wants them to have a beef so badly. Like they kept replaying the Alek Manoah thing. They kept replaying that, and then they kept asking Vladdy, like, you know, it feels like he's saying unsolicited, like, hey, I'll never play for the Yankees. It's like, yo, this is not even a thing where the Yankees can come get you. You still got
exactly. You're under contract still. You're not even, you know. Because initially off the off season, he brought it up, something about, I believe, him not playing for. I don't know if the question was asked, obviously.
Yeah. But
I know he had brought it up about him not wanting to play for the Yankees. But I'm like, bro, leave us alone. Listen, anybody will go to anybody if the money's right.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I'm not saying the Yankees are gonna obviously get him or anything like that. But just relax, baby. Don't burn that bridge. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, as a Blue Jays fan, I like to hear that he wants to stay for life.
Oh, of course, you want to hear that, fan. But at the end of the day,
money talks. Yeah.
If any team, not necessarily the Yankees, if any team comes to offer him more, he's taking that, and the Blue Jays don't give it to him, he'll go.
Yeah. Well, famously, the person who really that I know that really said that was Ken Griffey.
He said that, and that was an issue because the way he was treated.
Yes.
His father was treated, you know. And him as well, with situation back in the day where Greg Nettles, former Yankee third baseman, had his son out there on the field, and it wasn't an issue. And when Griffey Sr. tried to do the same, it was almost an issue. They said, no, you can't have your kid out there. So that's reason I can understand that. You know, he said he would have took less to go somewhere else. Luckily, the Yankees never, you know, and not that I would not like to have him, but at that point, they didn't need him. They were winning titles. So they were okay.
All right. But news and notes. So I guess breaking news right before airtime.
Yeah.
We have
So
this little bit of news.
So obviously the Pirates and Brian Reynolds come to an extension, agreed to an extension. Obviously, he was a guy that he asked at the beginning of spring training. He asked for a trade. He did not want to be there. There were a few teams out there that with a possibility that were, a guy that which teams were trying to acquire because he's a good player, man. 27 years old, good switch hitting bat, pretty good defender out there in the outfield. But he came to an extension for 8 years at $106 million to remain in Pittsburgh. I think it's a great deal for Pittsburgh. Young player, bona fide, really good player, all-star. On a pretty friendly contract for a team-friendly contract. So I think for Philly, for the Pirates, this is good. They keep their guy, and they try to build from here.
Yeah. So the one thing that stands out to me was he had, I guess, won 130. They are countered with 98. They met somewhat in the middle. I think with incentives and all that, it can get up to 128.
Exactly.
So that is interesting. This was one big target for your potential Yankees off the table now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he for sure fits their timeline. He is 28.
Yeah.
A lot of their young guys are in the early 20s. They got two of the top catching prospects. So we'll see. There's a limited no trade clause. So we'll see if he ends up playing the full thing. But this is the highest contract ever for
Pittsburgh history.
For Pittsburgh, yeah. So they've never gone seven.
Who was the
figures.
prior one? Was it McCutchen?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
It might have been
probably
McCutchen.
recent. It was probably obviously recently.
Yeah.
Somebody that played there recently.
But now I think there's only like 3 teams now that have never done a $100 million contract.
Wow. For any player, right?
For any player, yeah. I think it's I think Seattle's one of them. I don't remember the other two. But yeah, it's a nice little piece of business. It's one less thing to worry about.
Yep.
He isn't going anywhere, for the foreseeable future, and they're hot. So
yeah, we'll try to see what they're doing, if they can build from here, and what they can build from here. Like you said, they're 16-7 to start out the year so far. So far so good for the Pirates, man. Mm-hmm. Congrats to them, and congrats to Brian Reynolds.
All right, moving forward, our next piece of business is to look at the power rankings. So
the power rankings, you see them here. These goddamn Rays, man. Yep. Leon, we in some trouble. Pierre's in some trouble as well too.
Yeah. I mean, they keep winning. I mean, they beat the White Sox like back to back.
Yeah, walk-offs,
and then they beat Houston yesterday.
Yep. I'm telling you, man, there's something else, man. The way they're playing right now is pretty incredible, man. 19-3 to start out the year, or 20-3, I believe it is.
20-3 now, yeah.
Undefeated at home, 14-0. It's crazy to see how they're playing right now. And if you think of it, man, besides Wander Franco, and I wouldn't even say Wander Franco's a superstar at this point yet. Great player, but he's not considered one of the topper echelon players in the league. I don't think, at least in my opinion. He's a great player, great young player, but I think he has room for improvement. But they don't have like a legitimate, bona fide superstar,
Mm-hmm.
And for them to be doing this, not that you can't, baseball is not a one-man sport, but they just do it with guys that, Rosarena, Harold Ramirez, Yandy Diaz, Manuel I mean, guys that are just, if you don't watch baseball, you never even heard of them.
Yeah.
And they just continue to do it.
Yeah. It's incredibly frustrating coming from, two of the, fans from the rival division, watching them kind of do it with almost next to nothing in salary, man. It's just like next man up. And it's like, okay, just another. Okay. Blank and Brims is saying 24. So I guess they lost today. Okay. All right. But still, that's a major league record, right?
Yeah, exactly.
However many wins home wins to start, the season,
and there's no. I don't want to hear nothing else about low budget teams and what they can't do, or how they can't build a team up the right way. No, there's no more excuses.
Yeah.
the Rays have been doing it consistently for the past 12 to 15 years, let's say. I mean, if you think of it, for the past 10 to 15 years, let's say, the Rays have always kind of been in playoff contention, if you really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they went to the World Series in 2008. They lost to Philadelphia. But ever since then, year in and year out, they kind of been up there in the AL East competing for the division or making it in as a wild card. So, and it's always been on low budget teams, you know, rosters that combined don't even make a combined $50 to $60 million, you know, and they continue to do it. Obviously, shouts out to their department and their scouting department and things like their drafting department. I mean, everything. But they just continue to do it, man. They just continue to do it.
Yeah, they seem to like just get off on contracts right before they need to pay. You know, as painful as it is to see some of your young stars go in free agency or trade them, whatever.
Yeah,
they're never quite in a rebuild. They're always retooling, and you know.
Yeah, because I mean, they know more or less. Listen, if they have a guy that's possibly going to ever get to free agency, they try to lock them up early, like they did with Evan Longoria years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They did it recently with Wander Franco. And then when they have guys that have been there for a few years, they get rid of them and replenish it with younger guys. So that's just how they continue the cycle for them, you know? They just continue to do it.
Yeah. Any surprises here? I'm noticing there's a couple omissions that I'm thinking about silently to myself. It's weird the Yankees at 5, I think.
Yeah.
That's a little weird to me, but
yeah, I would probably say the Yankees at 5 is a little bit, you know, I don't believe that for this past week of the power rankings, they should have been 5th.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Blue Jays took 2 out of 3 from them. Baltimore's been playing great. They're second in the AL East right now, so they should probably be bumped up a little bit on that. As well as the Blue Jays. Houston is kind of middle of the pack right now. The Dodgers have been playing solid ball as of late. But yeah, I think probably the Orioles are the team that I would probably have them a lot higher in this power ranking.
Yep. Only
because they're 15, 16, and 7 at the moment. Second in the AL East. Ali Rushman is a stud. Mount Castle, he's a guy that he bats 200, but he's driving in runs for them. Have a, you know, so far a solid pitching staff for them. So listen, Baltimore's they've been for the past couple of years, they've been getting early picks in the draft, replenishing their farm system, bringing their guys up. I mean, this is how certain teams like, you know, Baltimore, they have to do things like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They suck for 5 to 7 years. they get high draft picks, and hopefully their draft picks hit. And so far, some of the young guys that they have been really good players. So
yeah, you
know, it's pretty good for Baltimore.
Yeah, Cedric Mullins, Gunnar Henderson,
exactly, and
you
know, it's Santander.
Yeah.
You know, so they have a pretty good team so far, young team, but you know, they're well, they're improved from last year for sure.
Yeah, 2 teams I see here that are missing that I can't help but notice. But number 1 would be the Texas Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
They're leading the AL West right now.
Yep.
And the second one, Pittsburgh Pirates. So we touched on him a little bit with Brian Reynolds, and does he fit long term? I mean, he's in the middle of his prime right now, or just starting his prime right now. Their offense is looking really good this year. They signed a bunch of vets on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Offense and pitching. We're kind of wondering, like, you know, what are they doing out there? They just, you know, they're just bringing in the vets, but it looks like those things are kind of paying off. The hitting is contagious. Their strikeouts are way down.
Yeah,
they're producing runs at a really high rate, and they're doing that without their prime
O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, their prime young stud O'Neal Cruz is injured with a broken ankle.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be out to like maybe August, possibly. They said
that's a terrible thing to break. Mid-year, you're probably gonna have to play with some type of metal plate or some screws or whatever.
There's definitely going to be some type of low management there.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
Such an explosive player.
He's such a big dude. Yeah, such quick speed. Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. I mean, there's a possibility even if he returns this season, he might not be for this year. He still might not be 100% coming off an injury like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's tough for them. But like you said, I want to go to the point about Texas. Texas, man, their offense is raking. I mean, They got some good. They got some solid pitcher. Obviously, they signed Jacob deGrom, and they have some other solid, pitchers in the rotation. Evaldi, Martin Perez, but so far, man, their offense has been producing, and that's without Seager. Seager's been kind of in and out the lineup. Simeon's been playing great for them. Adolis Garcia's been playing great for them. Yeah. So, like you said, that's probably another team that I would have, that should have probably been in this power ranking for this past week. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move forward. We are going into the standings. So we'll start off with the AL standings. Anything here stick out to you?
So in the AL, obviously we spoke about the East a little bit. Obviously, our teams being in that division. It's gonna be a tough division throughout the whole season, man. I mean, it's gonna be competitive as hell. It's gonna be tough, man. You might get 3 wild cards from this division itself. 2 for sure, more than likely. But we'll see what happens from there. Minnesota has a pretty solid team. I'm a little bit shocked with Chicago.
They're really bad, man.
I mean, they just a couple of years ago, they had all these explosive young players, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez,
Yohan
Moncada, Tim Anderson. To see them 7-15 is a bit, shocking, I would say. I thought they would be much more competitive in that division. They hired a new manager, if I'm not mistaken, this offseason.
Yeah, they let LaRussa go.
It was time for him to go, man. A guy like him, he's done what he's done already. He don't need to do anything else. But to see them so far behind in that division, the good thing I guess for them is that division is not clear cutting away anybody that's a huge threat. So it's possible they can still get back into it. But them, and I would say Seattle as well, man. Seattle being 10-12 at this moment, I thought they would be a lot better coming into this year. With Luis Castillo for the whole season, obviously Julio Rodriguez coming off a great rookie year, Robbie Ray in the rotation. I mean, they got some pieces there, so I was a bit shocked that so far that they're at that point, but it's still early. We'll see what happens from here.
At what point do we start the Shohei watch? Right now they're at 11-11.
Yeah.
At some point, they got to decide, are they going to, fork out the $50 million a year? There's rumors that they're looking to sell the team or new management or new ownership or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point you cannot let a player of that caliber walk. Nothing, right?
No, I mean, you deserve to get fired if that's the case. That GM would have to lose his job because, I mean, listen, let's be honest. The Angels, I can see them kind of being this way throughout the season, just a 500 team. So like you said, Leon, at what point do you get to the point where, okay, you look at the other teams in the AL, you see what their records are and, where you stand. And if you have a possibility to make the playoffs, and if you don't, you have to trade him. Because like you said, you can't let him walk for nothing. That's one. And then if you trade him, the amount of stuff you can get in return is astronomical. I mean, you can get prospects. You could probably get a few players that are playing right now. So you have to trade him. I believe you have to trade him because I don't see the Angels doing anything at this point, really, when it comes to competing for a playoff position. So you have to trade him, right? I mean, I would think you would.
I can't. The amount of stats I see him and Trout put together, like you could see him going combined like 4 for 8, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and then them still lose the game 6-4 because no one else did anything.
Yeah, because nobody did nothing.
Yeah. But we got a question coming in from Blank and Brooms. Shout out to you. Over under 30 wins.
Oof.
Oakland. I mean, they're on pace for a 29 win season right now, I think. They're almost the inverse of Tampa.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The complete flip. Just flip them. I don't think I see Oakland probably winning 30 to 35 games. So on this question, I would say over.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be by much.
Yeah, they're on like a historically bad pace right now.
Yeah,
they're not too far from KC, but I mean they're both pretty bad teams. But
yeah,
just the vibes in Oakland are bad, and then we'll touch on it a little bit, but they've just announced potentially them buying that piece of land in Vegas. So
yep.
It is not looking good for our Athletics. But yeah, thanks for the question, Blanken. We'll move forward. Let's take a look at the National League.
So the National League, man, obviously the Braves and the Mets in that division. I think those are going to be that's going to be a 2-horse race throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia, once they get Bryce Harper back, I think they'll be improved. The Marlins, Washington, there's nothing special there about them. So, but I still kind of see that as a 2-horse race between the Mets and Atlanta. Philadelphia,
Philly got better.
They did. No, they improved. Signed Trey Turner over from the Dodgers. Obviously, he's a great shortstop. They got some pieces, but it's a tough division, man. And remember, this year you're playing everybody in the league. So you're not playing the bottom feeders of Washington and Cincinnati numerous times. You're gonna play them a few times, but nowhere near the amount that you would have in the past because of everybody playing each other now.
Yeah, and you do lose more of those interdivisional games.
Exactly. So
you get to beat up on more different type of teams, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Philadelphia will still be there, and not counting them out, obviously after what they did last year. But I think it's a 2-horse race. The Cardinals, man, I still can't believe the Cardinals are 9-13. I just can't. I thought they would be so much better than this. I mean, they have 2 studs on their team with Arenado and Goldschmidt. They signed Wilson Contreras in the offseason. They got a pretty good rotation.
It's their pitching, I think, is kind of holding them back. And Yachty, right? Yachty's gone. That's a steadying force for the pitching staff. Like, he called so many other games. I mean, the battery, like that's going to be one of the records that might stand forever.
Him and Wainwright?
Yeah.
I
think 300 and whatever games or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's like I said this even before the season started. Losing Yachty, that's gonna hurt them more than they know. And obviously, it's not like he was retired. He was already he played his amount of years that he had to play. But losing a guy like that, man, it hurts you. It hurts you initially. It takes a little while to get somebody possibly to fill that hole that you lost with losing him. So it's gonna be interesting. The Pirates. I'm surprised that they're up at 16-7 at this point.
Yeah, McCutcheon is looking like a great ad. He's playing out of his mind. He's throwing it back to vintage.
Yeah, right. to the early 2010s, right?
Yeah, I mean it all comes full circle, right? He's back at the Pirates. He was the original guy that was traded for Brian Reynolds. He was the guy that brought them. Brian Reynolds when Kutch was traded to the Giants.
Yep.
All those years ago. So it's cool to see it. Rich Hill, never over the hill, is over there.
Exactly.
Carlos Santana is a solid bat.
Solid vet.
Connor Joe's fitting right in, and he was originally drafted by the Pirates. So it's a cool, feel-good story. We'll see if it lasts. That division is looking a little bit better than I initially thought.
Yeah.
Just based on the standings. So. It'll be cool how it plays out. Arizona's holding strong to the top of the AL West. We'll see how long that lasts for. I mean, they just released Mad Bum.
Oh, man, Mad Bum is done. I think he's done, too.
Yeah.
I think it's and listen, he 3-time World Series champ. There were guys in the league saying he didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
He was just done. I mean, with those amount of innings that was on his arm at this point, he's only like 33.
He's got his oldest 33-year-old.
Yeah, he's got to be exactly. Because first of all, he came up when he was young, and then just like you said, all the amount of years of pitching, all these games in the playoffs on short rest, it just took its toll. I think So
yeah, like say what you want about Kershaw and how much he's like a playoff choker and this and that or whatever, but those two look like they were going to be rivals for a long, long time. And
Yeah.
Kershaw is still doing what he's doing
Yeah.
in Dodgers, but he's much older too.
Yeah. And remember, Mad Bum for the past 3 or 4 years, he hasn't been good.
Yeah.
It's not like it kind of all broke down this year. But prior to this season, his past couple of seasons, he was already kind of shot already. So it's you know, the Diamondbacks just bit a bullet and they designated for assignment, and nobody's gonna pick up that contract. So, you know, they're just gonna have to pay him that 33 mil for the next 2 years. And hey, it is what it is.
That's one of those contracts that we saw when they were giving out. We're like, wow, that's a huge signing. It was kind of confusing because like they weren't really in a place to contend.
Yeah.
They weren't really signing anyone anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, it was so weird for that amount at that point for the franchise, like you said, where they weren't, it's not like they were going anywhere. They had they were trying to build the infrastructure pretty much, and then you go and sign a guy like him, especially when he was kind of washed up already at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you went and gave him that money. So, hey, you know, this is what sometimes teams that don't know what they're doing, unfortunately, this is what they do. They go and make signings like that, and then it comes back to bite them.
Yeah. All right. We got a question coming in. What day does the upcoming hats come on? I'm not sure which hats you're talking about specifically, but normally there is a hat preview show happening on Wednesdays on this channel. So tune in for that. I think they may be taking a break from that this week, though, with the Topper store opening. So thank you, JD Money.
Yep.
Moving forward. Players of the week. All right. So first, let's highlight Luis Garcia. Tell us about what he did last week, Kyle.
Oh man, so this guy went off last week. 400 average, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. Led all of MLB for runs batted in the past week. And 3 of these home runs were hit the other day.
In one day.
In one game. He went 5 for 5, 3 home runs, 2 doubles, and I believe it was like 8 RBIs. So most of his work was done that day.
That's crazy.
And he was able to win player of the week. He's been a solid player for the Rangers. Good bat for them. Had a great week. Had an other godly week. You know, this is not something he does regularly, but he's a good player for them, a good bat. Texas they've been playing good ball as of late. Yeah, it's so far so good for Texas, man.
Yeah, he did it in those brand spanking new City Connect.
Yeah, what do you think about that one? I actually like that one.
So I think when it was described to me, it was a lot worse in my head. I mean, seeing it like this, it isn't that bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it reminds me of like softball.
Yeah, it does. Like especially with the color of the pants, right?
Yeah, but there's some cool stuff in it. Like they mixed like the Eagles with the Panthers and they had the Black Panther and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, all the City Connects are a bit different, but this one seems a lot different. Like you said, it almost gives me a softball vibes with the different color pants. You know, we're so used to in baseball, either it's a white or gray.
Yeah,
pinstripes, no pinstripes. You know, but to have it like this, it's a little different. But it's cool, you know.
Yeah, it gets a little nod to the different stuff, and I guess the slogans are kind of cool and whatever. But the hat looks kind of plain, but when you break down the logos, it's kind of cool. It's got like a little spur in the edge, and whatever. But yeah, all right. So the other player of the week, Max Muncy. Tell us a little bit what he did.
Oh, Max Muncy, man, he's another guy, power hitter for the Dodgers. He's coming off a down season last year. He had a pretty bad season last season. And so far so good for him. Off to a start this year, 389, 5 home runs, 7 RBIs last week. He's a guy in their lineup that they really need to produce. They need him to produce, I would say. Obviously with the losing of Trey Turner, with the losing of Bellinger, not that they lost much because he wasn't doing anything anyway.
Well, he's doing stuff in Chicago now.
Yeah, Chicago, he's playing pretty good.
Yeah.
A guy like Justin Turner, they lost him as well. So far so good for Muncy, man. Obviously with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and those guys, if he can produce this year, that'll help them out a lot. Pick up the slack, help those guys out. But he had a pretty good week last week, and he was the player of the week this week, man. Max Muncy, Dodgers infielder, all around infielder. He plays a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and Gavin Lux went down too.
That's right.
For the year.
He tore his ACL, right?
Yeah, I think Muncy even had like a shorter week too. I think he was coming off paternal leave too.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I saw something where like 4 of the Dodgers were on paternal leave, which is crazy interesting. I mean, everyone's just having babies at the exact
same time.
Yeah, I think it was like Mookie, him. I don't even remember yet.
Yeah.
Phillips and someone else.
So far so good for him, man. You know, he's like I said, it's a guy they need him to produce, to pick up the slack for the loss of some guys they had, and he's more than capable of doing it.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So now the next segment, we're gonna go into the who's hot, who's not. We're gonna focus more, so I guess, on the who's hot section. So these are the MLB leaders for hitting. Anything stand out to you, Kyle?
Oh man, Luis Ariz, man, this guy's just a hit machine.
Yeah,
444. He just continues to rake. Obviously, last year he was the batting champion in the American League. Now he's over in the National League.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's ever won
in both
back to back.
Yeah,
right. That's got to be that's got to
be a stat, right? That we have to see. We have to look that one up. I know DJ LeMahieu won the batting title in both leagues, in the AL and the national, in the AL and the NL.
Okay.
But like you said, I don't know if there's been anybody that's done it in back-to-back season.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get our.
That's something we gotta. Yeah, we gotta open the almanac. We gotta open the almanac and check.
Yeah.
You know, but he just continues to hit, man. He's not a power hitter. He's not gonna hit you 10 home runs. He's not even gonna probably hit you 10 home runs, but he's gonna get hits, man. He's gonna bat well over 300, and from the looks of it, he might have a historic season this year if he continues the way he's doing right now. You know.
Yeah, 444, almost at the end of the first month.
At the end of the first month is impressive, you know. Yeah. So yeah, he's one that stands out as well. Pete Alonso for the Mets, he just continues to hit home runs. The polar bear, he just does what he does and just hits big flies all the time. So you know, it's good for them. It's. I want to talk about Devers.
Okay, let's talk about
because Devers, he incredible hitter, not a bad defender. But this is more a referendum on the Red Sox, and I don't understand. I still, to this day, don't understand how they let Mookie Betts go.
I think they foresaw not wanting to pay him.
But that's what I don't understand. The Red Sox are not a small market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can afford Mookie Betts. Like, I just, like I said, I'm not upset because I'm a Yankee fan and I did not enjoy facing him because he's incredible. But I still, to this day, can't believe that they traded him.
Yeah.
You know,
I think part of it is they were just coming off a bunch of contracts that they were still eating.
Yeah.
Right. That's number one. I think another part of it is Mookie Betts from Tennessee hates playing in the cold.
Yeah.
He hates the cold. So I think going to a warm weather climate, that was a big factor in him like re-signing with the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers re-signed him for 12 years, 365. At the time, it didn't seem like it seems astronomical and it seems huge, but like now seeing some other people sign these huge contracts, it doesn't seem that bad.
No, you're right.
Like
you're absolutely right.
He might age really well into that contract. But I think that those things and him just wanting out, I think they just saw like they weren't willing to pay him. Right?
Yeah, no, I guess that's what it came down to, right? Because like you said, they had the Chris Sale contract that's an atrocity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were paying him at one point they were paying JD Martinez. They were paying a few guys, but I just can't comprehend that they just didn't keep him. Like I just don't get it because you got a guy like Devers who's incredible, but you don't have nobody else around them.
Yeah.
to help him. So he's gonna produce. I'm not shocked about his numbers so far. He's one of the best hitters in the game, one of the top third basemen in the game. So it's, I guess for the Red Sox standpoint, it sucks that they let all these guys over the past couple of years go who were cornerstones, in their franchise.
Yeah. I just think that they've been burned by so many of those
bad contracts, right?
Contracts, like Carl Crawford comes to mind, Pablo Sandoval,
Yeah.
Gonzalez, just like huge contracts.
Yeah.
That like I don't know, like them, maybe taking a look at it and just be like, you know what, we're not in this game. I mean, it doesn't explain why they gave Trevor Story that huge contract. It doesn't
exactly.
Explain, that, but I mean, it's just one of those things. I think they just decided that it wasn't, that they didn't want to go down that route.
They didn't want to do it.
Maybe it would have cost them $400 million to keep him in Boston for all those years.
Yeah, I guess so. Shout out to them though. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Devers, man, he's one of those guys. I mean, they got him locked up, and thankfully.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But I just hate playing him, man. Just
he's
the power up the middle, just unlimited power with that guy.
Yep, gap to gap, doubles machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great hitter, man. Great hitter. Yeah.
And Neil is bringing up Yoshida. He had a huge game just yesterday.
Oh yeah, just a couple of days ago. He had two
home runs, one grand slam.
One was a grand slam.
Yeah, in the same inning.
I know. I seen. Yeah. So far, so good. Listen, these Japanese guys, man, especially over the past, the ones that have recently come over from Japan, they're pretty good, man. They come here and they produce.
Yeah.
They come here and produce.
Yeah.
So it's so far so good. He's a guy that a lot of people said that they believe he got paid too much, but. Listen, is in the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. They thought he was worth it, and they kept him. They signed him. So hey, far so good.
It's interesting seeing how some of them take different routes over. So like a person like Ohtani didn't want to wait till he was 26, so he came a little bit earlier. He did get paid substantially less. Yeah. And then there's other guys that are waiting a little bit longer so that they can break that. I think the 26-year-old or 25-year-old threshold. Yeah. So they're basically going to get paid more. So the two we got to keep an eye on is the Murakami kid and then Sasaki.
Murakami's the one.
Yeah. What about Sasaki? That pitcher.
No,
man.
Sasaki's he's only 19, I think, or 20.
20-something, 21, 22.
Yeah, he's young still. I think Murakami, though, he's the guy that's gonna, because he's only 23, left-handed power bat, and he hits for average as well. I think he's gonna be the guy that everybody's gonna be feasting their eyes on in the next couple of years whenever he's able to come over.
They dubbing him Japanese Babe Ruth. Right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I know Yankee fans are eyeing
that's what we want, baby.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at these pitching league leaders. So everyone's still stuck at 4. I feel like we were at 4 last week. No one really moved up. The saves, everyone's still kind of tight here. I mean, to me, like measuring saves is not that big of a deal. Like, I mean, you're just measuring like really close wins. And some of these ERA leaders are crazy. Sonny Gray.
Yeah. Sonny Gray, the guy that couldn't do it in New York, but does it everywhere else.
Ohtani still doing Ohtani stuff. That looks comical, Go be like an MVP caliber bat in between, and then then on your 5th day, just go out with a less than 1.
Yeah, just dominate as an ace. Yeah, just go out there and just be otherworldly. I mean, he's listen. We all know I guess you can say he's the best player in the game because of what he's able to do from both sides of the plate.
Yeah,
I mean both sides of the pitching and offense. He's probably gonna win one or the other, either MVP or Cy Young. More than likely, it'll probably be the Cy Young because his offensive numbers are not incredible.
No.
So, but still, like you said, Leon, he goes, plays offense for 4 or 5 days, and then he comes and pitches for 1 day and has 12 strikeouts, allows no earned runs. I mean, it's just incredible what this guy's going to get paid in the offseason. He's going to get banked.
Could we see the 500 mil?
I think it's going to be close or a little bit above 500.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit that a little bit down the road. But I mean, it's got to start at least with a 4
for
right?
sure. For sure,
three is a given, right? Like, it's got to be.
Oh yeah, it's got to start.
3's been broken. 3's been done.
Yeah, because you figure Judge got 360 for 9 years.
Yeah.
So he's got, like you said, his number got to start. Mike Trout, he got 12 years, I believe it was, for like 4 something around that range, 420. I don't remember the exact numbers because it's been a few years already.
12-year, 426.
Yeah. So okay, so
that's 3 years ago.
Yes, exactly. So it's got to start with a 4.
Yeah.
Some people are saying he's going to get 600. Brian Kenny at MLB Network said he's worth 600. That seems a little bit outrageous.
Yeah.
But you never know what all it takes is one owner.
Yeah. I mean, there's no comp, right? Like you cannot. You say Babe Ruth, but I mean Babe Ruth was primarily a pitcher first, and then a hitter.
Exactly. He didn't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be crazy what he gets. It's gonna be interesting. Like you said, we'll talk about it down the line and how the Angels go about it and whatever, but it's gonna be an insane offseason with him and what happens and where he goes or if he stays in LA. Because he could stay in LA and it's not necessarily with the Angels.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Moving forward. The sticky stuff.
The sticky stuff, David Cone. So obviously we know Max Scherzer got suspended last week. 10-game suspension for sticky stuff, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
This is David Cone here, former MLB pitcher. That he gave a breakdown on Sunday Night Baseball about the use of how you're able to actually get the sticky stuff and how it's able to work and how it's able to be effective. So, to my knowledge and what happened, Max Scherzer last week pitched against, what team was it? Was it the Giants?
Let me look it up while you think about it.
Yeah, so last week he pitched in his start, and according to what was said, he came out the inning, and obviously, after every inning, to the umpire's discretion, they check the pitcher, they check their hand, they check the glove and things like that. If there's anything sticky going on, stuff like that. They usually do it with all starting pitchers or relief pitchers. And it was said that he was, the umpire, after coming off the inning, the umpire checked, and I guess they felt that his hand was a little bit sticky, and they gave him the chance to go into the room, into the dugout and clean it off. He went into the dugout. Again, okay, that's right. I knew they was on the West Coast. And so he went into the dugout and he came back out and his hands were even stickier. So obviously they checked, they felt that it was something that it was a legal substance, and he was ejected out the game by Phil Cuzzi, who we'll also talk about him in a moment. But David Cone explained that if you use the rosin bag, so back in the back of the mound and most in every stadium, the pitcher has a little rosin bag, which is sand and dirt and rock, right? That you can use to apply to your hands, to your arms for better grip. But it's been told that if you use alcohol and kind of mix it up with the rosin, it makes it sticky. So this is what it supposedly was accused that Max Scherzer did. What do you think? I don't know. This is just craziness. What do you think, Leon?
Yeah, so it seems crazy that they would suspend him or eject him for something where he was following the rules. I guess Phil Cuzzi and them are saying, they don't care what he was using, whether it was just rosin and sweat, but he was just following their instructions. Like you go into, the dugout, you wash your hands with the alcohol. I guess if you have like remnants of the rosin, it potentially can make your hands stickier. I don't know, but it just seems it would be very, very dumb of him to go and use anything after they told him to wash his hands.
Yeah, that's the thing, because initially they said he was told the inning prior to him getting ejected, go inside and clean your hands. So he was pretty much, that was the warning.
Yeah.
On then letting him know, listen, your hand's a little bit sticky, go clean it off. So if it's true that he went in and cleaned it off with alcohol, and he knew that would make the substance a lot more stickier, then he's just a fool. I mean, he's just a fool if he went and did that, because he must have known that that would make it stickier. He had to know, obviously, because he came out and the umpires felt that it was a lot stickier than the prior time.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he fought. He said he didn't do it. He said on his kids that he would never do it, such a thing. We all know for the past couple of years, this sticky stuff has been something they've been trying to crack down on. After a few hitters actually came out and said that these guys are using sticky stuff. Spin rates were up on pitches, so on and so forth. You know, guys like Garrett Cole was supposedly using it. Trevor Bauer, when he was in the big leagues pitching, he was using it. Numerous guys, you know. So I think it's something that they're trying to crack down on. I still think it's a bit embarrassing, them just being out there, taking the picture right off the mound, right in front of everybody, checking them there. I feel like MLB can have somebody in the dugout, check them in the dugout or in the dugout away from everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, where you're not seeing what's going on. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah. There is an interesting stat, though. So Phil Cuzzy, the head chief, head crew chief, was the guy that threw out Max, and he's also behind the other two ejections. So he's all three belong to him. So
yeah, right.
Is there anything fishy there, do you think?
It's interesting that the same umpire would have the same 3 ejections, and he's the only umpire that's had ejections for sticky stuff.
Yeah.
So it seems a bit, you know, like, how is it that is he a little bit more detailed into looking at the pictures? Are they telling him? I mean, who knows what's going on? But it's a little weird that he is the only umpire that has caught 3 guys with sticky stuff. Because I'm pretty sure there's other guys that are using stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is. Pitchers, hitters, they're always trying to find an edge. Let's just be honest. So they're always trying to somewhat do something. But the fact that he's been the only guy that's caught 3 guys, is it suspicious? Is it him doing his job really well? I mean, we don't know. But it is kind of funny that he's the only umpire that's, out of all the ejections, he's been the umpire for all 3 of them.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. He did not appeal his suspension, so I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's adamant that he didn't do it. So
yeah. So
we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
All right. Moving forward, our next segment, This Day in Baseball. So this day in baseball, Nolan Ryan comes within 2 outs for his 6th career no-hitter, loses it in the 9th inning to a triple to the Toronto Blue Jays. Nolan Ryan ends up finishing with 10 career 1-hitters, which is an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
We were bringing this one up because Drew Smiley the other day lost his no-hit bid in probably one of the most improbable ways. Little dribbler, and then his catcher ends up tackling him.
Yeah.
And losing play because the play wasn't on the ball, wasn't
Yep.
with an error. He loses his no-hit bid.
Yeah.
You know, are there other more painful ones that come to mind? I mean, Anibal Sanchez on the blown call comes to mind.
Yeah, I think that's the most that I can remember. That's the most egregious one.
Yeah.
The Anibal Sanchez one, because, I mean, he was clearly out.
Mm-hmm.
Clear as day. If we had replay back in whenever, what was that, 2012, 2011, whenever that happened, he clearly would have been replayed and he would have been out. So that one hurt. I think it hurts more when it's something that's like, if a guy gets a clean hit, clean single, whatever, clean double, clean home run, you know, if he puts the bat on the ball clean and he gets a hit, I think you can live with that. Yeah. But when it's something like that, like you said, his catcher tackling him, or the umpire not making the right call at a base,
yeah, or
little bloopers that fall right over the infield. Or guys that even try to bunt sometimes. You know, when guys try to bunt, if they're in the 8th inning and there being no hit, a guy will try to bunt to get a hit. Is like that. I think those are the more frustrating parts of it. You know, I think if a guy gets something clean, puts bat on ball, and gets something clean, I think you live with it. I think it's those little, you know, BS hits or situations that happen that'll irk you more, that'll bother you more.
Yeah, we got an interesting question from the crowd. So Nolan Ryan or Roger Clemens. I'm going to turn that into a poll.
Ooh, that's
and
a
then,
good one.
We will let the people decide. So shout out to Wendell Dillon.
Yes, sir.
We will turn that into a poll, and then we'll give that a couple minutes, and we'll see who wins that.
That's a good. I would probably say, oh man, how do you go wrong with either one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably take Clemens, honestly.
Yeah,
I believe he was more dominant because people fail to realize as hard as Nolan Ryan threw, and with the 7 no hitters and things like that, he didn't have great statistical seasons as far as wins, ERA, things like that. I mean, he's never won a Cy Young.
never want to say him.
Yeah, I mean, Roger Clemens has the most Cy Youngs of all time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would probably take Clemens. They both had a longevity in their career, obviously. Nolan Ryan had the ultimate longevity. Still pitching at 44, 45 years old or whatever it was. So, but I would probably go with Clemens, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if you're talking one game, life on the line, game 7, I think you roll with Clemens. Both pitchers phenomenal at their craft. Nolan Ryan was a bit more of a power. I mean, Clemens was a power pitcher too, but Nolan Ryan, there was times where he was just uncontrollable.
Yeah, exactly. People fail to remember that, that he was. I mean, he, like you said, he was. They were both power pitchers, though. I don't think you could have gone wrong with either one of them. But if I had, like you said, Leon, if you had one game on the line to win, I would probably go with Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't go wrong with neither one, though.
You can't go wrong. Yeah. So Blanken Brim says he prefers his players not to do steroids. I mean, fair point, but I mean, he was also Roger was playing everyone who was doing steroids too. So
and to Roger's credit, he never got caught on a. Yeah. I mean, it's been said that he took steroids, and I think most people probably believe he did, but it's not proven that he did. And with all due respect to Nolan Ryan, not saying he took steroids, but there were other stuff that players took back in the days. Yeah. Greenies. Yeah. I mean, so they had advantages. Not saying it's the same, obviously, but you never know.
Yeah. So the poll, we have 100% to Nolan Ryan.
Oh.
All right. Well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, no, that's good. Everybody has, this is the beautiful thing. Everybody has their preference and their what they they think is better, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Clemens though definitely has more hardware. I think maybe both no hitters in the end, but more like you said, Cy Young's titles and stuff. But not in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah.
To you guys, but this has been fun. Another week covered in the MLB show.
Week three, baby.
Thank everyone for rocking with us live in the chat and in the future. Make sure you guys are dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel for future release information. Make sure you guys let us know in the comments, if there are any topics you want us to cover.
Yeah,
we try to do a good job of giving you guys a quick breakdown of the happenings in the league. Anything else we need to cover before we bid everyone adieu? We kept it to a pretty tight hour this time.
Yeah, no, just, we, another week in the books. Like Leon said, let us know what's your team looking like. How's your team doing so far?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think on the outlook of the season so far? And let us know what you think as well. Like he said, with any comments, any other stuff you want us to talk about, it's always good to have input.
All right, so one thing before we go, it is almost at the end of the month. If you were to predict MLB Player of the Month, who do you think gets it
for the American League? Oh, that's a good question. For the American League, I would probably go. Oh my God, Man, that's because you can go with Ohtani as a pitcher.
Yep.
Or you can go with a guy like Chapman, possibly from the Blue Jays offensively, or you can go with like a Rosarena. I think in the American League, it's probably going to be Shohei.
Okay.
And in the National League, I would probably say, oh, that's good. That's a tougher one because you could say Luis Arise because just he's batting 444, but the Marlins are over 500, but he hasn't done anything else like offensively that's like spectacular. I would probably say Ronald Acuna.
Okay.
So I would say Ohtani and Acuna. If I had to, to guess who would be the players of the month.
All right. I'm going to do a homer pick, and it's either going to be Matt Chapman, potentially Vladdy. He's doing really good to start the year. And then for a National League, I'm going to go with Brian Reynolds. So
Reynolds.
Let us know in chat who you guys think. Yeah. So, and before we go, Blanket Brims brings out a very interesting stat. Nolan Ryan has 7 no-hitters to 0 Cy Youngs, and Roger Clemens has 7 Cy Youngs and 0 no-hitters. Roger Clemens also has a record, right? Most strikeouts in a game, 20.
Yeah, 21, 20. I forgot. Yeah, something like that. But didn't carry? Yeah, he's up there. But hey,
listen, would tied him, I think.
Yeah, he has the hardware, man. Clemens got a couple of chips under his belt. Yeah. It's all, but it's like we said earlier, it's all in what you believe is, what's better for you and what you believe. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and Cy Young is popularity contest.
Exactly, it's more or less exactly. That's pretty much what it is. Because the fact that Nolan Ryan doesn't have one I think is outrageous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So appreciate everyone. Till next time, stay fitted. We out.